When you think of Mario villains, you probably think of characters like Bowser, Wario, or maybe Wart if you're old enough to collect your pension. However, today I want to turn your attention to the often forgotten Mario villain, Tatanga, the mysterious spaceman. Bowser is a greedy capitalist who has unfortunately had a near monopoly over villain roles in Mario games. Usually, the only times you won't see Bowser as the main villain are in side games and other spin-offs, and even then, Bowser will often still be the main antagonist. However, the Super Mario Land games are really interesting because despite being considered a part of the main Super Mario Bros. Series, Bowser is not the villain in either of those two games. In fact, he's not in them at all. The main antagonist of the first Super Mario Land game is Tatanga. Super Mario Land came out in 1989, which is still pretty early on in the Mario series in the grand scheme of things. One of the things I love about looking at the early entries in video game franchises is seeing all of the stupid, weird stuff they tried when traditions and staples of the series hadn't been established yet. Like, one of those weird things about early Mario was that several different villains would be the main antagonist of games besides Bowser, like Wart in Super Mario Bros. 2 USA, Wario in Super Mario Land 2, and the villain we'll be looking at today, Tatanga. Tatanga, the mysterious spaceman, is an alien who kidnapped Daisy in Super Mario Land. Tatanga apparently has some hypnosis powers because he hypnotized the people of Daisy's nation, Sarasaland, to attack Mario in Mario's journey across Sarasaland. Sarasaland has 4 districts: the Birabuto Kingdom, Muda Kingdom, Eastern Kingdom, and Chai Kingdom, with the Chai Kingdom being the place where Mario comes face to face with Tatanga in a shoot-'em-up battle in the sky. Personally, I'm not a big fan of when games completely change their gameplay styles for final bosses, but it's kind of funny here just for the novelty of a shooter final boss in a Mario game of all things. After being defeated in Super Mario Land, Tatanga would reappear in Super Mario Land 2, not as the main antagonist, but as the boss of the space zone in the game. Earlier I said that Wario was the main villain of Super Mario Land 2, but in a way, he's kind of the overarching villain of the entire Super Mario Land series. A series of only 2 games, but still, because Wario actually sent Tatanga to kidnap Daisy so Mario would leave his kingdom, appropriately called Mario Land. Wario then took over Mario Land while Mario was gone, and now Mario has to take it back from Wario. This of course raises a lot of questions, like 1. How does Wario know an alien? Did he just put out a Craigslist ad saying, hey, I'm looking for an alien to enslave an entire kingdom so I can then rule over a completely different kingdom? Maybe he met Tatanga through a mutual space traveler like Rosalina? Another question I have to bring up is, how did Wario even convince Tatanga to take over Sarasaland? Considering Wario was too greedy to even pay his employees in WarioWare, I don't imagine he would have offered much, if anything at all, to Tatanga for helping him. Tatanga even comes back in Super Mario Land 2 to help Wario fight Mario, so there had to be something in it for Tatanga. Though I guess to be fair, Wario could have promised to pay him something but then just lied. In the beginning, I guess it also could have just been because it was mutually beneficial for both of them, right? I mean, Tatanga gets a kingdom, Wario gets a kingdom, it all kind of works out, right? But in Super Mario Land 2, it doesn't make as much sense for Tatanga to come back and fight for Wario unless Tatanga was getting paid. Who knows, maybe Tatanga is just really good friends with Wario, they go out and play bowling on the weekends or something. Or it could just be Tatanga wanted revenge for getting whooped in Mario Land 1. In any case, that was the last significant appearance of Tatanga in a Mario game. Other than the Mario Land games, he only appeared in cameos, like in the MS-DOS game, Super Mario Bros. And Friends When I Grow Up. This is a 1992 game, if you can call it that, since it's essentially just a coloring book. You just pick colors and tap on different areas on the picture to color them. Tatanga appears in the astronaut picture. Mario is well known for having a ton of different jobs, like being a boxing referee in Punch-Out, a demolitionist in Wrecking Crew, and a doctor in Dr. Mario. However, none of that even compares to the number of different jobs that Mario has in Super Mario Bros. And Friends When I Grow Up. Mario is a chef, which is not all that interesting, except for the fact that he's serving food to Link from The Legend of Zelda. He's also a marine biologist, a certain JoJo would like to have a word with you. He's also a stay-at-home dad, which is pretty progressive for 1992. But I have to wonder, who's the mom in this case? Considering all the ladies Mario was dealing with back in the day, there are a few options. Mario's also a zookeeper, and oh my gosh, does he just have Birdo locked in a cage? Mario, this is not the first time you've done this to someone. I thought all the Mario is secretly evil theories were nonsense, but I might have to reconsider. Anyways, what were we talking about again? Oh, right, Tatanga. So, yeah, Tatanga really hasn't done much since the early 90s, and I don't really foresee him doing anything in the future either, even though there have been a few Mario games that have experimented with space travel, like the Galaxy games. Tatanga doesn't really have a personality. He's just an alien who pilots a spacecraft, and that's about it. The only thing we really know about Tatanga is that he does enjoy fish. There are these enemies that appear in Super Mario Land called Turions. Turions are these little fish enemies that show up in the last level of the second world, the Muda Kingdom. This is a pretty interesting level as it's a shoot 'em up stage just like the final boss, but instead of being in the air, it's underwater. There really isn't anything special about Turions, they just dash in a straight line from the right to the left side of the screen. They kind of remind me of the dolphins from Super Mario World, at least design-wise. What makes the Turions interesting is that apparently Tatanga actually eats them, and their dead bones show up as enemies in that same level, World 2-3. These enemies are called Honins. Not to be confused with Hoenn, the region from the third generation Pokemon games, although Hoenn does have a lot of water, so it's honestly a pretty funny coincidence. Honins swim upwards from these little gaps in the ocean floor before going back down into the abyss. To be fair, the Mario series has done the whole dead version of common enemy trope, with dry bones being dead versions of Koopa Troopas, so the Honins really aren't all that special. However, the fact that Tatanga literally eats the Turions, which is what causes them to die before they come back as Honins, is just a tad bit more morbid. Also, considering that the Turions are his minions makes it even more messed up. So if there's anything we know about Tatanga, it's that he enjoys fish, and he doesn't exactly treat his employees well. Wow, that actually makes sense considering he's cool with Wario. Now, apparently in some of the other material outside of the video games that Tatanga has appeared in, like in the Super Mario Kodansha manga, they did flesh out Tatanga's personality a bit more, but at least from what it seems, he's basically just another Bowser, an evil guy obsessed with a princess. Instead of Princess Peach, in this case it's Princess Daisy. If they were to bring back Tatanga, I think they'd have to do something a little more with his character. Just being a personality-less villain or a Bowser clone would just be kind of lame. But yeah, I think that's about it for this video. If you're interested in watching more videos like this, here's a whole playlist of videos for you to check out. That's all I've got to talk about for today though, so thanks for watching y'all, and have a great rest of your day.